Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
An ad regarding Easter was banned in a movie theater in California because it's too controversial. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. Joining me is Shawn Akers, the dean of the Helms School of Government at Liberty University. Shawn, this is an ad, and of course this is radio, but for those that are viewing this on our video cast, can actually watch the ad. We'll have it there as part of our YouTube page at Liberty Counsel. But this ad was something that was going to be played in a movie theater before the movies began. It's a 30-second ad, very well done. And this particular ad was banned because it's too controversial. I mean, we just looked at the ad before doing this program, and it's shocking that this ad about Easter would be too controversial.
Yeah, you know, Matt, when we heard this, when our director of communications said that there was one that was banned, I'm thinking, well, this is going to have some very extreme content or something like that. It's a very professional piece of video that has nothing in it that I saw that it could even be taken as reasonably controversial. But that hasn't stopped NCM Media Networks in California. This is a group that sets up these pre-movie advertisements that you see when you're waiting for the movie to start. It didn't stop them from declining to allow this church to run this very vanilla Easter ad before movies.
Yeah, this is the Compass Bible Church. It's a 30-second ad. It's a church in Orange County, California. They wanted to advertise this on the movie screens, just like you see all these different ads coming up before you watch the main feature. And it's only 30 seconds, and it was basically just advertising to come to an Easter service at their church. But it had one word or one-liner type of things about, did it really happen? Is it really true? And basically some of that, one-liners just to get you interested in it. And then it says, find out what we believe about the resurrection at Campus Bible Church. And it gives the date and the location of the church. That's it. Yep. And that ad was banned by the theater people, saying that it's too controversial. I mean, I know Jesus is a controversial figure. He said that if they do this while the tree is green, what's going to happen when the tree is dry and dead and gone? If they persecute him, they're going to do the same to his followers. And Jesus confronted the culture very specifically and boldly. But this ad is just... It just mentions about the resurrection, and somehow that's too controversial?
Once again, Matt, you and I have talked about this through the week, about certain actions being made illegal simply because they were carried on by a Christian. When we talked about the displays earlier in the week, and we talked about other actions because, for instance, the pastor in Louisiana we spoke about earlier in the week that was not going to be allowed to speak at an employment seminar or to talk about being able to volunteer for missionary projects because he was a pastor. And now we're looking at this in the private sector where you can advertise for people to come to your store to buy whatever you want, but you can't advertise that you can come to our church and find out what we believe about the resurrection?
Well, the pastor, Mike Fabreras, said that the reason it was banned is because it has the name Jesus in it. It doesn't even say that the resurrection is real. It doesn't even say what the church believes about the resurrection. It asks a question about, did it really happen? It gives you some questions, and then it says, find out what we believe about the resurrection at Campus Bible Church. So nobody is being put on the spot that this is something that really happened. They're just raising the question and then say, come to our church this Sunday for Easter and learn about what we believe. I mean, obviously the church believes in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but when you read this and you look at this ad, When I first heard about the story, I thought, well, what does it say in the ad? Is it like an evangelizing, proselytizing, you need to accept Jesus Christ now or you're going to hell type of message? And then when you and I and the rest of us looked at the ad, it's shocking that it's such an innocuous kind of message, just talking about coming to visit us. I mean, what about Handel's Messiah? Are those great works of music and art, the Sistine Chapel, are all of those now so controversial that we have to wipe them clean from our memories and from our history and from our communities?
You know, what's really fascinating about this, Matt, is you pointed out several times things that now, in a different context, things like time, place, manner restrictions, that you're saying that in certain places and certain times, certain things are more appropriate than others. And this is in the private context, but think about where we're talking about. We're talking about in a movie theater. Most of the folks producing movies, the movies they're going to watch right after seeing these advertisements, they won't even put them on unless they're controversial. That's what they do, is try to stir up controversy, but you can't sit in that same theater and watch an invitation to come to a church on Sunday.
Yeah, the media people that run this theater said, well, the ad was rejected because the pastor was given guidelines that disallowed nudity, drug use, and the promotion of religious figures. Well, let me see. What about the Passion of the Christ? Did they show that? What about a movie about Mother Teresa? Would they show that? What about Martin Luther King Jr., who is a pastor, and the whole civil rights movement came out of his calling as a pastor? Would they show that? This is ridiculous. I think the real reason why they banned it is because it mentions the name Jesus.
Well, and look at the ranking that you just read. Look at the ranking. There are 3 things that are listed there that are absolutely anathema, that you can't touch, that are just evil. Nudity, drug use, and the promotion of a religious figure. So don't mention Jesus. Jesus is ranked right up there with nudity and drug use.
Yeah, it's all those things that you have used to be in the brown wrappers. And, of course, drugs are illegal, but the nudity was covered behind brown wrappers in these convenience stores. And now you got right there Jesus.
The brown wrapper Bible.
And anything that's religious, which goes back to what we started off at the beginning of this week, where this pastor, where we intervened in La Rose, Louisiana. The school district there said that he could not participate in Career Day because he was a pastor, solely because he was a pastor. He's a religious figure. Now, the good news is we got that reversed and we got it overturned. But here it is coming up again in the same week, a different situation, a different part of the country. Now, because it has a religious figure, i.e. Jesus, that is not permissible in this theater.
You know, Matt, I don't want to see us come to a time where, I mean, you gave such a good analogy there. There was a time when pornography was such a stigmatized thing that you bought it, like you said, in the brown wrapper, that you couldn't look at it. And we're getting to a place where the Bible is a thing that they're saying belongs in the brown wrapper, that any mention of a religious reference is a thing that you should be ashamed of. That's the message that's coming out here, is this is unacceptable and you should be ashamed of it. You know, this is the time when we need to stand up and tell groups like NCM Media Networks and the theaters that contract with them that this is unacceptable. If you want our dollars, you know.
Well, at Liberty Counsel, we actually had someone threaten to send us a package that would have some like the powder that was sent out after 9/11, and also a bomb. And the reason why we found out that they called and gave us this threatening message was because Liberty Counsel was mentioned at the back of a Bible, and it was the Bible that they were opposed to. And so they had Liberty Counsel's name at the back of the Bible, and they called us to give us a bomb threat in our office, one of our offices. You really begin to realize what Jesus meant, where he talked about this division. And these people that are opposed to Christianity are not about tolerance. And you got this radical atheistic movement that has become not so much we don't believe in God and you're silly for believing in God, but we don't believe in God and we're going to make you not believe in God. We're going to force you not to believe in God, and we're going to disable you from participating in the public community. This is outrageous here. I think every single time we see this kind of bigotry take place, we need to make a stand and make a difference, because those particular practices become policy, and the policies eventually become law. Give us a call at Liberty Counsel, 1-800-671-1776. That's 800-671-1776. When you call, you can ask for the book, The Patriot's Handbook on American Liberty. It's one of our new books from our New Revolution publishers. It has the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, Patrick Henry's famous speech, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, and also Original Intent by David Barton. That's the book, Original Intent by David Barton. And be sure to be part of our social networking right there on the webpage at lc.org.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.